Hello, welcome to Better Wounds podcast. I'm really excited tonight. I've got Kylie, and she is the founder of Sulinu, which is a nutritional supplement, which is all about helping you heal after plastic surgery or really any cosmetic procedures or anything that's going on. She's got something for you. So I've let you guys in on the little secret that I'm getting ready for my own procedure. And so I'm calling in as much info as I can get. And I'm just gearing up and getting ready and calling all the big guns. And for all the years that I've been learning and sharing, Kylie's been there. And she was definitely someone I reached out to right away. So thanks for joining.
I'm excited. I'm so excited for your surgery. Beyond excited. There we go.
Here we go. So
it's gonna be fantastic.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to I'm sure most people that are having surgery, but I'm trying to take that nervous energy of like, oh my God, what am I doing? This could be bad, to just like excited. So it's a little bit of a transition thing that I'm going through, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. I'm just trying to walk in as good and strong and motivated, and I just know it's going to go great. And so that's how I'm trying to walk into it, instead of being like feel fearful or even like apologetic that I want to do something to fix how I look. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I'm sharing and hoping that it helps other people. Who knows who it'll reach.
That's fantastic.
So
yeah.
I know, like, tell people what Sulinu is, first of all, in case they've never seen you or heard of it.
Yeah. So Sulinu is the women's first nutrition company for plastic surgery, where most women go into surgery eating the wrong things and overspending on wrong supplements. Sulinu gives you everything you need in order to heal faster and stronger and better after surgery with our nutrasurgical vitamin powder, which has everything in it, as well as our surgery meal plans designed to give you a beautiful recovery and a beautiful incision. So we sell just one product, and that gives you everything you need for your surgery.
And that's like before and after you're using the same thing.
Yep. So it's called Before and After Vitals. So it's created to prepare your body for surgery, because the majority of us are nutrient deficient going into surgery. And then it's designed to help your incision heal and to recover after surgery.
Perfect. I know, like, we definitely communicate a lot about folks that come to us with wound issues or issues after surgery. And obviously I want to avoid that as much as possible, just like everybody else. So I reached out and we've talked about stuff, but I was also looking on your website, and this is just information other folks will find, but I was checking out the blogs, which really had a lot of information. And there were two that kind of stuck out to me that I wanted to chat about, but one was caffeine. So, like, my doctor didn't tell me anything about cutting out caffeine before, but I saw that that was important to do on your information.
Well,
or like
there's
cut
two
back.
sides. Right. So what's funny is that the research really doesn't show that it impedes healing after surgery, unless it's like microsurgery, which is just like the tiny, tiny, tiny vessels of surgery, which are like not cosmetic, right? Cosmetic is not microsurgery. But what they do say, I do recommend it only because for two reasons. Number one is I have personally gone through a caffeine withdrawal headache, and it's almost as painful as childbirth in terms of just how it affects my body.
Yep.
But I don't want to say the research, but there's been papers written by surgeons that have said that the withdrawal from caffeine can impede your healing just as much as not having it all taking massive doses. So they're saying that, like, people who are withdrawing from caffeine, because the majority of Americans are so addicted, that the minute that we start withdrawing, we are in so much pain, And if we're in extreme pain, we are not focusing on recovering, and our body cannot emotionally start healing.
Got it.
And so I recommend to cut back, like just to cut back a little tiny bit before surgery, so that when you go through those 48 hours of not having caffeine, you're not going to have a massive, massive, massive headache, and your body's going to start shutting down because it doesn't have those addictive mechanisms in their body.
Got it.
Right?
Yep. Makes sense.
So I like to say, tone it down. If you can do like either a half cut coffee or like a really strong tea. I love to recommend a London Fog. I love to recommend a bergamot before surgery. But after surgery, I mean, when you wake up, you can have sips of coffee, like when you wake up, if your doctor allows you.
The people at the hospital are hysterical. Like when I get them up after surgery, like right away, they're like, I need coffee. It's like, what is going on here?
Yeah.
How much coffee do you normally drink?
Well, and like just think about, because I'm not a Starbucks drinker, but Starbucks has like 3 times more caffeine than like your typical coffee. But I do have an espresso machine, right? So like the withdrawal of people's symptoms now are so much worse because we are 10 times more addicted to caffeine than we were like 10 years ago, right? So we don't want to go through that withdrawal symptoms because it's so hard to catch up on having enough caffeine. And like I said, the effects of the withdrawal are what's hurting you. Mm-hmm. That's why they don't really care, right? They're like, you can have it. We don't really care. They talk about increase your blood pressure, or it's a vasorestrictor. But that's, like I said, the research hasn't really shown that. So for me, I just say try to cut back and just try to start to like some less, caffeinated, because you're not going to be able to have this extra large Frappuccino 3 shots, when you wake up after surgery. You want to just have enough caffeine in order not to have a withdrawal.
Got it. Yeah, that's not like, I'm not a huge coffee person because it messes up my stomach, but I do some of those like powders, like it's probably even worse, like the energy powder stuff. So yeah, that's more my thing.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
The amount of caffeine is actually less than in a cup of coffee, so I figure. Oh yeah, I'm not that bad, but I will definitely cut back. I'm cutting back on that, and wine too, because I definitely want the wound to heal. Yeah, and the bleeding.
Yeah, and that.
Yeah.
And I switched to like when I was cutting back on alcohol, I switched to like, all the alcohol curious companies are coming out now. Yeah. It's switched to a hop water. So like I was drinking a lot of beer, so I switched to a hop infused water. So like I feel it could calm me down like a beer, but it didn't have any alcohol. Mm-hmm. And then for wine, what I tell people is either do a wine spritzer, which is like a regular wine with sparkling water, or the big thing now is like those adaptogenic drinks, which you can't have before surgery, like a week before. But if you're craving that nightly wine, like an adaptogenic wine or a mocktail is good. Yep.
I like a kombucha with some seltzer too. It's just like, oh, it sounds like fancy, but it's just in my fridge.
Yeah, that's delicious. Yeah.
So the other thing too, right, we're talking a little bit about it already, but and I've talked about it as well in some of the episodes prior to this, was about going into surgery as strong as possible. And like, we call it prehab. We prehab for anything, like with my background as a physical therapist, you go into surgery or whatever, the stronger you go in, the stronger you come out. So I'm definitely picking up the workouts and doing all that and making sure I'm strong. But you mentioned it in one of your blogs as well, like prehabbing nutritionally. Yeah. So obviously that would include the Solenu. How soon? You said 3 weeks.
I mean, what I tell people is I'm like, the minute that you think about surgery is the minute you need to get on a multivitamin with minerals.
Yep.
So like if you are a year out, if you are 6 months out, you need to start on a multivitamin with minerals. And so that's because statistically, we're all deficient in something. And so it takes about 3 to 6 months to replenish those stores, those depleted stores. So that's the first thing. And then 3 weeks before surgery, I recommend Sulinu. And the reason I recommend that is because the way that we have created the vitamins, we've made them so absorbable and accessible by the body, so that to make sure that you're getting everything you need. And then we're also prepping your gut. So like when you do our supplement plus our pre-op meal plan, we have a lot of things like a gut reset meal, like meals, which are very simple, but they're designed to really start clearing out your gut and resetting it and making it so ready for anesthesia, for antibiotics, and to prevent constipation. And then we have a patented probiotic and prebiotic in the Sulinu to help reduce constipation within 7 days. So prehab for us is like getting your gut ready, getting your immunity as boost as possible. This is actually from studies from hospitals. This is not from me. This is like what hospitals think of. Boosting your immunity, resetting your gut, and then preparing your body to close your incision as fast as possible. And that's all from pre-op nutrition. That is supplementation. You can't do it alone. You have to do supplementation before surgery. And then really understanding your diet and understanding what truly impacts your surgery, which is going to be what we call the 2.0 formula, which is going to be the 25 grams of protein at every meal, 2 cups of produce twice a day, and then 2,000 milligrams of sodium, under 2,000 milligrams of sodium, and starting that before surgery.
Great. I think I'm on the right path so far. Yeah.
I'm sure you're doing fantastic.
Yeah. Always can tweak it.
When I think about you, I think about, do you have somebody to take care of you? I know you have a husband and all that stuff, but it's like, do you have your meals ready? Have you have your salt ready? Like, do you have like those low sodium meals? Are you prepared for pain? Like, how are you going to, we can talk about this in a different podcast, but I
have a helper. My mom is going to come in, or I'm going to stay at her house or whatever for those first couple of days. And yeah, I do need to meal prep in advance. So yep, I need to do that still. I'm not that,
and you know what?
I'm like 6 weeks out. So I got time.
So what I would suggest with that is I tell people to get silicone bags or Ziplocs, and you just put deconstructed smoothies in your silicone bags. And then you just caregiver. This is for day 1. This is for day 2. This is for day 3. And that's all you do. Or they can cook it for you. It's just like something simple as that. And if you've made the soup and they don't want to cook it, you have already put it in your silicone bags. You've cooked your rice, your grains separately from your liquid. You've frozen them, and then you just give it to your caregiver, and they just heat it for you and give it to you. But if you can do smoothies and like our high protein soups and stuff, and like our high fiber, high protein soups, I mean, you should be good to go.
Yeah. Totally doable.
Yeah.
So much to think about,
funny? I know. And that's why, like, and this is a little bit off subject, but I went to another surgeon's office, and he was not selling Sunilinu. He was selling a different product. And I mean, I don't have an opinion about that, but I saw what it said, and it was like for the first 7 days you do this, for the next 7 days you do this, for the next 7 days you do this. And it's like, these women are so overwhelmed with what they have to do. To tell them like to do this detailed plan is insane. So like, just think about, I think it's just thinking about what are the majors that you have to major on and what is the most important, but I think it's just so amazing that you're doing this, because then you're going to be helping so many people after this in terms of their mindset in order to prepare. But what I do tell people is like, statistically, what is statistically your your chance of having a problem? Or what is statistically your chance of having a problem with anesthesia? Those are the two major things that people are concerned about. And if you do the right thing and you have the right surgeon, I mean, it's so
Yeah.
small, it's so small.
I feel very lucky like that I have done like hands-on work on some of her clients, which is how I was able to decide that I was gonna go with this surgeon, is because I saw all the
Right.
results on like so many different people, and I'm like, yep, I'm gonna be fine. And she's like
So like, yeah,
so quiet and reserved, and she's not like over the top at all. Not a hard sell. She's not really like all over the place. She like does not care about any of this stuff. She's just doing good work. So
those are my favorite surgeons.
yeah.
Those are my favorite surgeons. Like the non-flashy ones, the ones that are just putting their head down and working. Those are some of your greatest surgeons.
Yep.
They're just focused on the patient, and they're just focused on patient health and outcomes, and those are going to be some of your most qualified surgeons. I mean, there's many ones on Instagram, that have huge followings and they have great outcomes, but sometimes it is like the ones that are hiding in the shadows that are, your golden gems.
Yeah, and it's like a quiet, like, oh, you're good. Yeah. She's good. You'll be fine. So,
yeah.
yep.
And I said in my story one time, I was like, I think the question was like, what do you look for in a surgeon? And I was like, I don't care about bedside manner.
Oh.
I don't care about Instagram following. I don't care if we connect as friends. I don't care if you're my friend. Like, none of that should matter. Like, if you're going in for emergency surgery on your appendix, like, do you
don't
care
even know who did it?
if you're going to connect emotionally with your patient? No, like, you want somebody who is going to deliver the best results. And I mean, that's just me. And so I understand we live in an Instagram world, but that's just my personal thinking is I'm like, to me, that's just not important. What's important to me is like, are you the best surgeon that can deliver results, who will take care of me after I have surgery?
Yeah.
Like I'm not talking DNA after surgery, about post-op care. Are you going to deliver results? And so I think to me that I agree, that's so optimal.
Absolutely. It's a big thing, but I definitely know like I've got you on my side, so I know I'll be good nutritionally and all situated in that. And I know like if a wound pops up, I know what to do. And so I'll also be sharing like that journey as well, because I know that that's, I'm sure you know, there'll be leaking, there'll be stuff happening, and that's like people freak out. I get a lot of messages like that, is it infected? Is this okay? What's happening? How do I deal with this scar? So, it's just
Right.
it's a huge mental toll. Like you think you know what to expect, but nobody goes from that like before and after without this like whole journey in between. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to show it some of it.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
And you'll have passion. Are you going to have drains? Do you know?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be fabulous too to show everybody, because that's the biggest thing, right? With wounds,
There might be like there might be one or two, but we'll see.
But that'll be like a great way to show your patients and even me, like the progress of a drain closure.
Yeah.
After you take it.
I mean, I just had a client too, even with the lipo holes, where I just what we're taught and then what then gets disseminated out and what people like remember and take in, and even just like what she was saying to me with she was going to do with the compression garment, and I'm like, that's not, wait, what are you doing? Like, no, actually it's supposed to get tighter, not loose. Wait. So I think sometimes it's just the amount of information that's out there. Yes, we have so many resources. It's at the push of a button. But then like what you remember and what you've pieced together and like what goes in and what stays in. Even like I get this all the time with wound stuff. And so sometimes I'm like, no, you can't do all the things that like that doesn't apply to you. Like throw that out because that's not the situation that you're in. So, we'll see how it goes, and I'm sure it's going to be fine. And if it's not, we'll handle it.
We'll handle it.
We'll handle it.
And there's nobody better than you.
We got this. But thank you so much for coming on. Where can folks find you? I'll plug it all down below, but go ahead and plug it away.
At sulinu.com, which is SULINU.com. On Instagram, it's sulinu.nutrition. And I think it's the same on TikTok as well. And then on YouTube, it's at Sulinu.
Great. Perfect. So I'll tag everything. Yep. I'll put links and everything down below, and you can reach out if you have any questions. You can comment below. We'll get back to you at some point. Go ahead and get your products. If you are signed up for surgery, reach out if you have questions. Follow along, and let's get this all healed up together. If you have any questions or need anything, let me know. Talk soon.
Great. Heather, it's great. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.